Welcome back, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back to the GVU, the Geo's video update. We are continuing our conversation that we've had over the last several weeks. We've had a series called In Conversation With. The past several weeks, it's been around Microsoft Azure and the Apex Cloud Platform for Microsoft Azure. Well, interestingly enough, and exciting news, we've announced and made generally available another solution in the Apex Cloud Platform family, this time with our partner, Red Hat. So now we have the Apex Cloud Platform for Microsoft Azure, and now in this conversation today, we're going to be talking about the Apex Cloud Platform for Red Hat OpenShift. We are joined in the studio today by a special guest. Selva, how are you doing today? Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Happy to have you. So, Selva is part of our product management team. So, Selva, why don't you please give us a quick introduction of who you are, give us a little bit of background and what it is that you do for Dell, please.
Sure. My name is Selva Subbiah. I'm the lead product manager for Apex Cloud Platform for Red Hat OpenShift. I've been with Dell for 14 years. I started as an engineer, going into engineering management, and then I did my MBA and moved into product management. Prior to this, I did my PowerEdge product portfolio management. Now I've been doing this Apex Cloud Platform team. Pretty exciting.
Awesome. 14 years. So you've been around for a good bit of time, right? You've been in the trenches, and now you're in the trenches in a different format.
Mm-hmm.
So the Red Hat, Apex Cloud Platform for Red Hat OpenShift is a continuation of a partnership that we've had with Red Hat, I believe, for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So
can you talk about
19 what?
1999. Yeah, it's been
wow, 1999. I'm hoping many of our viewers, not to tell my age or you guys' age, but 1999. I bet some of our viewers probably were just in middle school or even in high school. So this partnership has been here for quite some time. So can you tell us a little bit about where we came from and what we've transitioned now into?
Yeah, so Red Hat always has been one of our partner for a long time. We achieved the highest possible partnership with Red Hat, premier partnership, right? And that gives us a pretty good way to kind of co-engineer our product. Particularly on this product, what we have done is we kind of collaborated pretty tightly, co-engineered this appliance to give that easy button experience to our customers when it comes to managing Red Hat OpenShift infrastructure. So from the way you can order the systems, how do you deploy in the day one operations, and how do you even manage on day two operations, right? All the plugins that we need to integrate seamlessly into the Red Hat OpenShift ecosystem, right? We worked with Red Hat engineering, we worked with our partners and made sure that it operates as a unified solution rather than two solutions stitched together. So we are pretty happy with that. Apex Cloud Platform for Red Hat OpenShift doesn't have its own control plane console, if you will. That's one of the big differentiator. What we have done is we took all our infrastructure management and seamlessly plugged into Red Hat OpenShift console itself, right? What this allows you to do is your if customers have IT people or infrastructure ops team, they don't have to go train them on a different skill set or tool sets. They can just seamlessly use the tools that they're already familiar with, in this case, Red Hat OpenShift Web Console, and then manage their applications, their containers, and their infrastructure all in one place. So that's what we are able to achieve through this partnership.
Gotcha.
I think that's awesome. And I would say it's a very unique proposition in the marketplace, because there's not really any other vendor OEM that's providing a similar offering where we have the integration of the hardware aspects as well as the Red Hat OpenShift aspects. I think these are very unique aspects in the ACP family compared to maybe on the vSphere side or Azure side. There's different options in the market, but I think here we're providing a really a unique offering to customers.
Exactly.
That's a good point, Ben. You know, it's a unique offering, even though the building blocks that we're using to put the solution together is a similar building blocks that we're using for the other Apex Cloud platforms offerings as well, with the, you know, unified Power Edge underpinnings with the MC 760 and the MC 660, the unified Apex Cloud Platform Foundation software is similar across the board, and of course the Dell software defined storage is on the back end of this solution, right? So trying to, as you said, Selva, trying to make everything simplistic and bring it all together for the customer. Now, did we not have, prior to this offering being available, did we not have a reference architecture that we kind of took and built on top of that and just basically took it the next step in that evolution? So that reference architecture we had that in our portfolio for how long?
It launched late last year, so it's been close to a year. Yeah.
But that reference architecture solution was basically part numbers on a piece of paper, right? This is an actual solution. This is an actual co-engineered, jointly engineered solution with the actual bits that are tested together to work together. The validated state of the upgrades are going to be there. You know, all those aspects to make this as easy as possible for a customer to deploy Red Hat OpenShift.
Yep.
What from your experience and your interactions with Red Hat, how do customers deploy Red Hat today, Red Hat OpenShift? What do they generally do?
So they can, you know, if they're plain vanilla Red Hat OpenShift, they can deploy on any x86 box, right? It takes, it depends on their expertise and depends on if they had OpenShift before or not, right? If it is my first cluster that I'm trying to put together, it could take somewhere close to a few days, right? Depends on, you know, your rack and stack your hardware, your network configuration on back to your spine, and, you know, your infrastructure, your firewall settings, your, you know, security settings, and then you figure out the 3 or 4, you know, however cluster nodes you need. Make sure they all have the same configurations, right? Then you start deploying it, and then if you run into any issues, right, obviously you stop and address that, go to the forums, find out what the problem is. Nobody's there to help you, right? That's a true DIY, right? Like if you open in your garage and you're fixing things, right? There's nobody to help you. Compare that to Apex Cloud Platform, Red Hat OpenShift, right? So we could go from days to few hours, right? That's the easy button. That easy button is here, right? So when the experience with Apex Cloud Platform is, you know, Dell deployment services shows up, you know, you rack and stack the servers. There's a very easy step follow through a wizard, like a nice GUI, like VxRail experience. Customers follow through that, you know, provide their configuration, network settings, pick the nodes they want to deploy, and they go deploy the cluster. Right at the end of the deployment, customers presented with the credentials to log into their web console. So it's as simple as that. From going from that here, and even though it sounds simple, the way we are able to make that happen is we took some of our best parts of our PowerEdge portfolio, like M6 series, 7 series platforms, curated that to cloud native applications, right? Because, you know, those series are pretty like a Swiss Army knife. You can use for any applications. We kind of narrowed down, and that allows us to validate more on cloud native use cases, right? And then we put the Apex Cloud Foundation software on top and put our SDS, and I'm bringing all this together as a fully validated turnkey appliance. It allows us to, you know, move faster, right? When it comes to day 1 deployment, or even when it comes to day 2, which we can talk a little later.
Okay, right. So you just spoke about the deployment process, and I think what's unique in our offering, actually we use a bare metal approach, and I think a lot of people deploy OpenShift actually deploy it maybe in virtualized environments. Could you maybe expand a bit on why we're using bare metal and what's the advantage of it?
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of customers, because you know, how they are used virtualization in the past, they feel more comfortable taking containers and putting it on top of a virtualized environment. It technically works, but it's not very efficient. You are now having 2 control layers, right, under your application. Bare metal kind of eliminates that virtualization, right? So it directly, lays it on in the core OS in this case, and you can run it, and your resource, you use a lot less resource, and you don't have that virtualization tax, if you will, right? If you're paying more additional licensing for virtualization, now you don't have to do that, right? Red Hat OpenShift is your only licensed infrastructure platform.
Right, and I think this makes a lot of sense, because as you mentioned, customers don't need to pay for the licenses for the virtualization layer, but still they get the benefit from a centralized solution. That maybe is a pain point normally in bare metal deployments, where customers need to manage multiple OSs. And in this way, actually, we have like a central management platform as well for the firmware drivers aspects of the whole solution.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, even though it's a bare metal deployment for containers, customer can still bring in their VMs, right? So the KubeVirt open source technology that's OpenShift also supports, it allows you to bring your current VMs, right, as is, and run them on top of OpenShift. So customers can still run it, but do they need to run container on top of VM? They don't have to, but they can, but they don't have to, this architecture.
Gotcha. So we talked about how easy it is. We talked about the capabilities of it being on bare metal and the advantages, excuse me, of it being on a bare metal environment. What about the day two operation, right? So, many of our customers that build their own infrastructures, they then need to expand. They need to add more nodes or add new drives or add more capacity, whatever the case may be. So what have we done from a day two operation to simplify activities for our customers?
Yeah, no, obviously, right? So if you look at some of our demos that's posted out there, you'll see the day two experience, how seamlessly it integrated. I'll walk you through how the experience, right? Once you deploy the cluster, you go into Red Hat OpenShift console. On the left navigational tree, you'll see a place for Dell Apex Cloud Platform, right? Once you click that, you'll see kind of set of console pages, if you will, right? Starting with the overview, right? You'll see the entire cluster health, right? From aggregated health, whether it's, critical warning, stuff like that, your usage metrics. You double click on that, it takes you to the next level of what nodes make up those cluster and their critical status. And you double click that, it takes you to the alert page where the alerts come. So you can all the way drill down to where the problem's coming in. And then, when you go to the updates tab, you can find out if there is a new update for you, right? And then apply that update. We do all the pre-checks and applying all that. So it's pretty much seamless when it comes to LCM management. And we also support what we call the continuous validated state, right? In a day two operation. What that means is, today, customers, if they do their DIY, right, they have to make sure their hardware vendor has the right drivers, firmware support, their current OpenShift version. Their application need to support their, the management layer, the interconnect, all of them, they need to go figure out, collect those binaries and test it, validate it, make sure it works with their application, right? It can take weeks for you to do that, even if you want to do a single upgrade. What Dell done is we significantly reduced that complexity, right? We pretty much integrated into Red Hat's kind of CI/CD pipeline. Right? So we are able to pretty much test on their nightly builds and find issues much earlier. And whether it's on our product or OpenShift product, we are able to solve them together and then bring that solutions together much faster than what people can do. And not only that, we take their entire tech stack of Dell Apex Cloud Platform, right? That includes hardware, firmware, security patches, Red Hat OpenShift patches, our Dell SDS patches, all of them together, tested, validated on our infrastructure appliance product, and then give it to the customer as a validated set of updates. So customers will have the confidence to go and apply that, knowing that it works. It saves thousands of engineers' hours for them to go validate that, right? That's a significant value. When we talk to the customer, that's the one thing they would be willing to pay, or they need help, right? Hey, this constant managing of infrastructure is not my day-to-day job. I want to run my applications and manage my customers, right? So that's where we can alleviate that concerns and address that. Now, you asked me about add node and add disk, right? So those are the, like I said, we are seamlessly integrating into the web console. It is as easy as you go right click, add a node, and we do all the pre-checks, make sure the new node you're trying to add has all the right security patches, firmware levels of your current environment. And then we bring it and add it to your existing cluster, and then the customer can expand that way. So it's all from the same console, seamlessly you do it. Not only your application management, your container management, your infrastructure management, all in one place.
And that's all non-disruptive, right?
Yes.
Online. You don't have to take anything offline in order to do that. That's a huge benefit for many of our customers as well, right? They can do this whenever they need to on the fly.
Yeah, add disk also similarly, it's a plug and play. So you should be able to go add a disk on the server, make it part of your cluster. If you want to expand your storage capacity, right? You could do that. You also can do maintenance jobs, like if you want to replace a node, you take some node offline or move the workloads to some other node, and patch it, and you do what you want. Yeah.
Right. And our lifecycle management does that for them seamlessly, right? Being able to put a node in the maintenance mode or whatever the case may be, do a rolling upgrade of that node while the rest of the cluster is still in production, then bring that node back out and make sure everything's good and move on to the next node, move the workloads around. We take care of all that for our customers. So that's a beautiful aspect of our lifecycle management when it comes to
that's how we are able to reduce close to 90% of the time it takes to do your day-to-day operation, right? Not only your deployment, we made a significant improvements, and also your day-to-day operations, we made significant improvements with this platform.
Awesome. So, as we get ready to close it out here in a couple minutes, we've talked about day one, we've talked about day two. What we haven't talked about, which may be of concern or a question that many of our customers may have, is how have we simplified or made their life easier when it comes to support, when it comes to call home or any of those aspects? What does the ACP for Red Hat OpenShift provide? What does our solution provide from that perspective?
I'll give you a non-ACP experience, and then I give you a compare and contrast.
Of course.
So if you run, even if it's a Dell product, you run it on some x86 box, and then you run OCP, right? You call your, you don't know who do you call. Do you call Red Hat? Do you call your hardware vendor? Do you call your storage vendor, right? Sometimes they might say, you go there, go here, right? So that could take days for you to even figure out who's really responsible for it. Switch over to ACP. It's a single point of contact, right? No matter what happens in your appliance, right? Whether it's on the OpenShift layer, underlining, or ACP foundation layer or hardware layer, you don't care, right? You call Dell support. We take it from there, right? We provide the L1, L2 support for any incidents compared in that appliance technical stack. And then if needed, we will work with our, SDS engineering team, or PowerEdge engineering team, or even Red Hat OpenShift support team, right? Dell will manage all that for the customer with a single support ticket they create, and we take care of the whole thing when it comes to backend, communicating with them, resolving the issue. I think that's a significant improvement from when it comes to what saves the customer time, right? And in deployment, in day one operation, day two operation, and also during the problems they have during support. So the full life cycle of their entire infrastructure management made a lot easier.
And we also have, as with all of our products, we have call home, right? So the system will be connected. So if there are any hardware-based failures, those things the system will dial home, and before you know it, new hardware could be showing up to be replaced.
So the way it works is, if there is a critical alert that is warrants a service ticket, right? And automatically a service ticket is created, routed back to Dell backend. So that before even customer calls, we know there's an issue that's reported from their infrastructure, and we can start working on those, right? And then they can also have integration into their the Apex Cloud Platform integration page, where they can create support issue right off of there, right? They don't have to go anywhere. We provide that integration as well. So it's pretty much every aspect you can think of when it comes to managing your infrastructure. We took care of it as a unified turnkey solution appliance, and also from a single point of contact.
Awesome. Well, Selva, I know you're busy. We're kind of running out of time. Ben, any other questions for Selva before we close this out?
Just maybe a quick question before we close. So we spoke about the automation software, we spoke about the OS stack, about the compute part. Just if customers want to use persistent storage, we offer our Dell SDS storage solution. Can you maybe just explain quickly before we close on how does it work and how can customers consume persistent storage for their containers?
Yes. Yeah. So the way we architecture Apex Cloud Platform is what we call it's a two-tier architecture, right? So you can scale compute and storage independently. You can also purchase compute independently, meaning if you're an existing Dell SDS customer like PowerFlex, you have a big PowerFlex installation, you can just buy the compute side of the cluster and add it to your PowerFlex storage, or you can start brand new compute and storage and use that as your full integrated storage plans. So what this allows the customer is if they are running a compute intensive workload, they can just continue to expand their compute cluster. But if they have something that's a storage intensive, right, they keep adding more data, then they can add a storage cluster, right? We give them two different choice. So they're not tied together. They're pretty loosely coupled architecture, allows the flexibility for customers what they want to expand, right? If they want to add more containers or they want to add more storage volumes, right? It gives them a pretty good flexibility and choice.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you, Selva, for joining us again. Hopefully we didn't take up too much of your time this morning. Thanks for joining us and going through all the different aspects of the Apex Cloud Platform for Red Hat OpenShift. For our viewers that are out there, this solution is available. It's available for purchase. Please, as normal, like, subscribe, comment down below if there's any conversations or any additional topics that you guys want for Ben and I to engage in. Please post it in the comments. We do read our comments and we will take it from there. We will actually, in the description of this video, we'll put some links. I believe, Selva, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there are some already YouTube published demos of the Red Hat OpenShift. So we'll include those in our description so our users can go check those out. Mm-hmm. And with that, gentlemen, thanks again for your time. Everybody have a good day.